Hi friends, host Eric here, host of Talking with Fence People, and I'd like to put to bed this Rachel issue a bit. So let me stress, it is not that I am above reproach with Rachel. I do have a tendency to talk over her, interrupt her sometimes, monopolize the narrative space, and otherwise make various FE social mistakes regarding being two people on camera, right? And and it makes me cringe very badly at myself when that happens. The idea that somehow Rachel's not heard around here, that Rachel and I don't communicate with each other or aren't on the same page, or that Rachel feels overrun at all or is overrun at all, is completely nonsense. Completely fucking nonsense. But it is the case that I make plenty of social mistakes in terms of operating as a two-person team. So I would like to integrate Rachel more successfully into everything and more FE well, you know. I would like to not be guilty or subject to that critique of talking too much, not affording Rachel enough space to speak, interrupting her. Because the thing is, Rachel doesn't have very much to say. She really doesn't have a whole lot to say. If you ask her a question, she'll give you a straightforward answer, and she'll just leave it at that, you know. But it is the case that I'm very Eric-y, and that means I've always got a lot to say about everything, and that historically I'm accustomed to mostly making videos by myself. And that's not because, like, Rachel right now is still asleep. I got it typing at 11:30, and she's still asleep, and I'm making this video. And the reason is because I'm constantly thinking about stuff I'm gonna say on the internet about whatever. And in this case, this issue of me and Rachel has become an interesting one. So what people have people always project their own strange shit onto my relationship for some reason. It's like Klaus saying, "Well, how can you say you're not a leader and aren't the leader here if you have this position?" And the thing is, well, because I'm not in a relationship that has a leader and a follower, obviously. I mean, we're a team. The fact that I'm the much more public, extroverted, and audible and visible half of the team doesn't mean that we're not completely a team. It just means that we have different roles as part of that team. And regarding the channel, I'm the leader regarding the channel. That's true. But my channel is not my relationship. And it may be central to my life, but so is my relationship, and those are separate things. So, it's true that I'm the leader artistically around here, and that's how it has to be, right? It's like I've been making shit for so long, making so much shit for so long, it's impossible to imagine anything else. If Rachel has a vision for something and wants to implement it and wants my participation, I'd be happy to follow her leadership. But it doesn't work out like that, right? She's happily engaging in the extroverted intuition that I generate as starting points for making stuff. She enjoys a great deal when we're in the car and I start talking in a certain funny voice, and she does an equivalent, and we have conversations back and forth, ripping off each other and stuff. She likes that, and so do I, you know? She's a great partner for me to have. But I can understand and respect how I am open to critique on FE levels for not clearly delineating exactly what's going on here on the channel, right? Like, is this my channel? Is this our channel? Is this, is this the Rachel and Eric show? Is this the Eric show, or what? Well, it's the Eric show ultimately. And Eric, though, is now Eric and Rachel. So, Rachel and I don't have to really draw any lines between us. She's empowered and entitled to do whatever she wants at any point on the channel. Anytime she wants to make a video and upload it, she's well aware of the fact that she is totally entitled and empowered to do that. And if she wants me to help, I will be glad to help her. she's by default playing defense, and she likes to be enabled to play defense, which is to say, whatever she's going to say, she wants it to be wholly defensible. And she's not especially good at coming up with a bunch of arguments. Now, it is true that I'm not always speaking on Rachel's behalf. Sometimes I'm just speaking for Rachel in a way that's not really effie good, right? So questions that aren't matters in dispute, matters that are going to be contentious or create some sort of conflict, there's not any good reason for me to be like answering her questions for her or something. What happens sometimes is that I just get carried away. I've got a lot of things to say about the question, and I just start answering it, and that's my bad. Something I should work on. But Jeff Shaw, if you want to critique me adequately, if you want to critique me accurately, you're going to have to critique me there. You're not going to be able to critique me as this being representative of some lack of health in the relationship. And the last comment Jeff Shaw left on that thing was so ridiculous, I have no choice but to read it out loud. Talk about overreach and insanity. I'm going to watch your videos going forward. If you devalue her or people that have valid thoughts, we unfortunately for you will have to meet. You're an ESTJ, bud. This charade has gone on long enough. Jeff Shaw, I will never meet you. Also, you're the very last person qualified to evaluate my relationship. Here's what I said in response. Obviously, I'm never going to meet you, Jeff Shaw. You're a total asswipe. You're a drunken buffoon. And if I devalue someone, then you'd be right to critique me. But I'm not devaluing people ever. I'm always saying things like, I'm talking about your words, not your person. There's nothing inherently wrong with you. The reason you're like this is bad. I'm constantly saying things like that. So I make a good, clear distinction between people and the positions they hold, right? The words they say. The words they say are absolutely open to critique at all times. And if you're talking about public discourse, whereas the people they are not. Now, Jeff Shaw, I did critique your person. I said, I'm never going to meet you because you're an asswipe and a drunken buffoon. So, yeah, you've been devalued by me because you've displayed this persistent lack of honesty in your critiques. So, you had legitimate reason to critique me for being socially awkward with Rachel in terms of monopolizing narrative space, but you didn't have one to critique me for being overbearing or critique Rachel for being weak, which is the implication of your comment, of course. The idea that I'm an ESTJ is fucking so insane, I don't even know what to say about it. It's the most ridiculous. It's the first time I've ever been accused of being an ESTJ. If Jeff Shaw actually meant that, then what Jeff Shaw is saying is, oh my god, Jeff Shaw have been wrong about Eric this entire time. Which, I mean, as far as I can tell, Jeff Shaw is never wrong about anything. So, anyway, that's what I'd say about that. Yeah, I'm imperfect. And I wish I could be better on FE things. I hate making FE mistakes. It makes me feel embarrassed, it makes me feel cringy, etc. But an attempt to conflate that into some sort of unhealth or toxicity in our relationship is wicked and dishonest in the worst possible way. So, Jeff Shaw, again, you're going to watch my videos going forward. You've been watching them this whole time. You're obsessed with me. So, okay, good for you. You watch them all you want. If you think you caught me devaluing people who have valid opinions, but it's okay for me to devalue people who don't have valid opinions? I mean, the point is, people say stupid shit all the time. I only devalue them when they're fundamentally dishonest like you are. Because they deserve it.